All right, we are back in the sack. Round 4 is upon us, and this is a preview and prediction video of the matchups in round 4. In round 3, we had chaos on the women's side. We had Iga Swiatek going out. We had Elena Rybakina going out earlier, and the strong favorite to me looks to be Sabalenka at the bottom of the draw, just absolutely murking people. 6-0, 6-0 over Sarenko in the third round. And on the men's side, we've got all the top 4 contenders alive. And then we've got Djokovic playing Mannarino with some super interesting storylines about Mannarino drinking tequilas, Djokovic being super fiery, wanting to fight people in the crowd. And it's going to be a great match. Carlos Alcaraz still rolling, still flexing on everybody. But yeah, the big news on the women's side, Iga Swiatek has crashed and burned. We're going to react to it. We're going to preview the 4th round, and it's going to be good. Thanks for being here. All right. What do you think? We're back. What do you think so far of this Australian Open? They've had some really good days of tennis. People have talked about the quality of some of these matches, and a lot of interesting players kind of doing interesting things. On the men's side, no huge upsets, really. There's been, Holger Rune going out was the biggest one, I think. And then on the women's side, it's just blasted wide open. It's gonna be crazy. So yeah, very interesting start to this week. Welcome to the Slice. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button. We are Canadian. We're Canada's #1 tennis content destination, and we appreciate you being here. So yeah, what's going on? I don't know about you, but I've heard a lot about Adrian Mannarino in the last 24 hours. He's made his way through the draw to the 4th round to play Novak Djokovic. And one of the super interesting things about Mannarino apparently is that he says he never checks who he's playing before he basically shows up to the match. Obviously, I think you would just accidentally look at the draw or see, or somebody would tell you or whatever. But in general, he doesn't care about who he's playing. He doesn't make a game plan. He doesn't practice specifically for those players that he's playing like almost everyone else does. And he says he actually has a hard time finding practice partners because he's a lefty. So anyways, he just hangs out, relaxes. There's this funny video. He beat Ben Shelton in the last round, who's, warming up and doing band exercises in the hallway, and Mannarino's just sitting there chilling with his feet up, basically. And then Mannarino beats Ben Shelton in 5 sets in the 3rd round in a pretty crazy match. So sneaky Mannarino, you never know. He's a gamer. That's what I would call him. He's a gamer. He looks like a guy who's playing at your local club, but then he's literally the 20th ranked player or seeded player at the Australian Open. And he's going to be an interesting matchup with Djokovic for sure. So why don't we just get into that off the top? Djokovic playing good. Forehand, forearm, wrist, elbow, whatever was going on there does not look to be an issue anymore. He's wanting to fight people in the crowd. He's still talking about Ben Shelton. Like, Ben Shelton is living rent-free in the heads of Djokovic fans and Djokovic, it seems now, after being like 6 months since they played at the US Open, which is quite hilarious. He did have a great answer from a question from Ben Rothenberg about, Ben asked, when you were a young player, you had a lot of personality and you were pretty exuberant on the court. Did any of the older players there not like that? And Djokovic pointed out that, yeah, Federer did not like the way he acted early on in his career, and he thought he made that known. And then Djokovic says he never went over the line of disrespect, and he thought Shelton did, which I totally disagree with. So I think he's out to lunch there, but I do think he's always been respectful for the most part, unless it's someone in the crowd that's given him disrespect, or, a racket on the fence or the court or whatever that is. But to other players, Djokovic has always been a class act, in my opinion. So there's some interesting pizzazz there. But this match, Djokovic versus Mannarino. Mannarino is the type of player who doesn't, blow anyone. He's not the most athletic, blow you off the court with pace guy, but he's the guy who can play angles, counterpunch, and just has a very, very high tennis IQ. And those are the players who have historically done well against Djokovic, usually in 3-set formats. In a 5-set at the Australian Open, I'm just going to back Djokovic 100% of the time. And I do have predict him coming through this match in 3 sets, but you never know. It could be cool. I will watch it tonight for sure. Manarino is going to be able to hang with Djokovic, I think, and we're gonna get some really good rallies. We're gonna get some really cool points, but I think Djokovic is just gonna be too good because he is too good. That's that's the in-depth preview analysis that I have for this one. Djokovic is just kind of on another level, but Manarino is the type of player that can drag Djokovic into rallies where Djokovic is having to go on offense, and Manarino is kind of setting traps for Djokovic to go into and potentially hurting him. We've seen Bautista Agut do that. We've obviously seen Medvedev do that. So yeah, that's going to be an interesting match off the top. But let's look at the men's draw now. Why don't we? At the top there, you see Djokovic coming through Etcheverry in 3 sets straight. And then Manarino taking out Shelton in 5 sets. Did not get to watch this match, but obviously it was a style difference with Shelton, big jacked American, bombing down serves, and Manarino, the crafty Frenchman, solving the riddle. Taylor Fritz comes through Marozsan. Good little run there for Marozsan. He's Fabian Marozsan is, where's he at now? 67th ranked. He's going to be even higher after this tournament with that little run there. That's nice for him. Fritz comes through him, though, and Tsitsipas comes through Van Asch fairly smoothly. So that's a great 4th round matchup. Yeah, Fritz has been in a bit he's kind of been in a little limbo land. He hasn't been playing his best tennis over the last number of months. And Tsitsipas has been looking good this tournament from what I've seen and from what I've heard. So I'm taking Tsitsipas in 5 sets to win this match over Fritz. But it's going to be, I expect it to be a big time battle because both guys can get nervy. Both guys can drop their level when they need to raise it. And they can also play huge on these quicker Australian Open courts. So I expect that to be a battle. 5 sets, Fritz versus Tsitsipas. Then in the Sinner quarter, Sinner absolutely annihilates Sebastian Baez. I watched that match and it was just like hitting practice for Sinner. No offense, Sebastian Baez. But Karen Khachanov is going to be more of a power companion or power equal to Sinner. And I think this is going to be a good match, but I do think Sinner's coming through in 4. I've just got a ton of confidence in Sinner based on the end of last year. He's got that look in his eyes like, this is my time right now. I'm winning a major in 2024. So we will see. I believe Sinner's coming through Khachanov in 4 sets. And then we've got de Minaur versus Andrei Rublev. Now, de Minaur has been playing great. He's been playing great. He beat Djokovic. He's beaten 2 Italians in a row easily, 6-3, 6-0, 6-3, 6-3, 6-3, 6-1. I mean, chop liver. De Minaur took out Raonic in the first round, our Canadian, who was injured. So I'm honestly taking de Minaur over Andrei Rublev. Although Andrei Rublev has also, played good. But I just think Alex de Minaur has got that dog in him right now. In front of the Australian Open crowd, beat Djokovic before the tournament. And if there's anyone who can frustrate a Rublev, it's a guy like Alex de Minaur. He can get to all of his shots. He can counterpunch well. And he's just a beast. And he's got kind of the way he talked about his win after the joke, or talked about himself after the win against Djokovic. He's got a chip on his shoulder, it looks like. And that, to me, when a guy who can move like that and play like that has a chip on his shoulder, makes him even more dangerous, more motivated. So yeah, I'm taking de Minaur in 5 in a war versus Rublev. And I think it might be a painful night for Rublev. All right, to the 3rd quarter, the Medvedev quarter. Arthur Cazot, the wild card from France, continues the Cinderella run into the 4th round. He was at the Winnipeg National Bank Challenger, I believe. He's just been a challenger player for the last few years, and he's come out here. He's taken out Holger Rune and Talon Griekspoor now, and now he's here to face Hubert Hurkacz with a lot less to lose than Hubert Hurkacz does. So I'm actually taking Arthur Cazot in 4 sets over Hurkacz. Is that crazy? Call me crazy, but that's a section of the draw of opportunity right there. And I don't have the most confidence in Hurkacz's mentality right now, his clutchness. I would love him to take that next step again where he's already won a Masters. I'd love him to do something like that again. My tennis racket just fell over and was very loud. This is one of my tennis rackets. Yonex SV95 with weight added to it. It's a beast. I'm not good enough to use that racket though, so we're gonna leave that on the ground before anyone gets hurt. Okay, Ninu Borges beats Grigor Dimitrov in 4 sets after I tweeted out about how amazing Grigor looks, how amazing his level is, and I seem to have jinxed him. I said Grigor Dimitrov is 32 years old. He has a similar flexibility strength combo as Djokovic and does not seem to be slowing down, cruising into his mid-30s. Playing some of his best tennis again, I'm reminded of how much of a perfect tennis player he is physically. And then he loses. So that was not awesome for him, but awesome for the country of Portugal. Ninu Borges is into the 4th round to play Daniil Medvedev, who took out our Canadian Felix Auger-Aliassime 6-3, 6-4, 6-3 last night. And while I expected that to be the result, Felix did, I think, find a nice level of confidence and aggression in that match. He just, in generally, I don't think he had the confidence to get and do too much damage to Medvedev to win that match. But the second set, he was right there. They both broke. That was a good match for him, I think, even in the loss. Just pulling up the stats here for our Canadian faithful. 8 aces for Felix. It's a little bit better than it has been. Win percentage on first serve, 67. So that's down, but it's Medvedev. Hitting it big. Fastest serve, 213. Average first serve, 6 kilometers more than Medvedev's. But yeah, just like a ton of unforced errors. 19 winners, 43 unforced errors. So his timing, his confidence, his belief is still lacking, but I think it might actually have been improved by that match against Medvedev. Getting to the 3rd round is better than he's had 3 first-round exits in the last 3 majors before this tournament. So he needed to get a few wins, and he did that. So Medvedev versus Borges, I'm taking Medvedev in 3 sets. Don't mess around. The guy looks absolutely dangerous. Sasha Zverev threw Alex Michelsen in 3 sets. That's pretty impressive because Michelsen is a baller. Zverev versus Norrie. Norrie takes out Ruud in 4. All the British people were very excited about that. So we'll see, but I think Zverev's got a little bit more pizzazz right now. He's the 6th ranked seeded player. I think he's coming through there in 4. And then we've got Kecmanovic playing Carlitos Alcaraz, who Carlitos had a really easy walk over a retirement of Zhang in the 3rd round. So he's going to be fresh. Kecmanovic comes off a 5-setter where he bageled Tommy Paul in the 5th set. Did not see that coming. Tommy Paul had 2 match points in the 4th set. So that is going to sting for TP Swizzle. That will sting. But Alcaraz, Kecmanovic, Alcaraz has got too much. Let's be honest. He's got too much gas. 3 sets, Alcaraz coming through that match. That is my prediction. So as we have it right now, the predictions for the quarterfinals, if we're looking at them, would be Djokovic versus Tsitsipas, Sinner versus de Minaur, Cazot versus Medvedev, and Alcaraz versus Zverev. So really, those would be 3 absolutely dynamite matches. The only matchup that would not have been there since the beginning would have been Cazot Medvedev because it should have been Rune based on the rankings. But other than that, I'm fairly sure that, and then de Minaur, I'm taking over Rublev. So pretty stacked, pretty consistent men's side of the draw there for sure. Let's go to the women's singles and check in on what the heck happened. Linda Noskova takes out Iga Swiatek in 3 sets in 2 hours and 20 minutes. Let's look at the stats. 10 aces for Noskova, big time. Win percentage on first serve, 71% for Noskova, 65% for Swiatek. And the errors, 33 errors. Both of them had a similar ratio, I guess. And that's just a close match that Iga Swiatek wasn't able to find a way to win, which she has done so many times throughout her career. So some people are saying she needs a better first serve to really dominate on the hard courts like she has on the other courts or on the clay. And that's probably true. So yeah, right now she holds one major, the French Open. And is this the year that she's going to be knocked off the top of women's tennis? If Sabalenka comes and wins this tournament, like I expect her to, is she going back to the top, or is she going to be the number one player in the world? We will see. Azarenka takes out Ostapenko. Azarenka looking good. The returning mother. Yastremska takes out Navarro. She will play Azarenka in the fourth round. Who else do we got here? We've got big stories. Qualifier Timofeeva takes out Bedad Maya, another Russian player. Maria Timofeeva, ranked 170 in the world, just coming up, just playing big time. And then we've obviously got Maria Andreeva, the 16-year-old. Mira Andreeva, excuse me. And that is just nuts to me that she takes out Diane Perry in 3 sets, in a 3-set, third set tiebreaker. And she will play now Barbora Krejcikova, who I accidentally skipped over here, was Freck versus Coco Gauff. Coco Gauff takes out Alicia Parks in a very uneventful match, 6-0, 6-2. Thanks for coming out, Parks. Takes out Leila Fernandez, our girl, and then gets absolutely crushed by Coco Gauff. You hate to see it. Krejcikova into the fourth round as the 9th seed. And then we've got Anisimova taking out Badosa. Great to see Anisimova back playing after having a tough time in the last couple of years. She's into the fourth round to play Sabalenka. So that's really the match I'm looking forward to most. Anisimova versus Sabalenka. Sabalenka double bagels Serenko, as we said before, in the third round. So she's my favorite. She's playing Anisimova. She can also hit huge. So that is going to be a big hitting affair. And then the winner is going to play either Krejcikova or Andreeva. So that's a super exciting kind of bottom quarter there. Coco Gauff, she's in the same half as Sabalenka now. So that's going to be a very competitive bottom half. And then it's a very wide open top half with, favorites to get to the final. You'd think Svitolina, Azarenka really are my two, and they're in the same quarter. So the women's side of the draw, wide open on top, pretty competitive on the bottom. But in general, lots of action to talk about, lots of things to talk about. Leave your thoughts below. What have you seen so far? What surprised you? Any players that lost early that you thought would have made it deeper? Any players that you're super impressed by, like Kazol? I just like saying his name, Kazol. Yeah, I'm excited to see Alcaraz get deeper into this tournament. Djokovic continue to move through the tequila sipping Manarino. I know it's good to watch Felix play a bit better last night, find a bit of his old game and start to look like he's on the path to playing more like himself. We love to see it. But as of right now, for Canadian fans out there, there is one player in the singles, one player in the doubles. Keegan Rice, 17-year-old from Canada, is in the boys junior boys tournament. He plays today, actually, so we're wishing him luck. And that is the slice. Fourth round preview of the Australian Open. Thanks for being here. We'll check in on you either tomorrow or after the matches tonight, and we will see you soon.